In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Crypto fam, good evening. How is everybody? I hope you all are well. I do apologize. Just want to let you guys know we've got just a little problem going on with the intro. We got flagged for copyrighted content, and the reality is we actually paid for the beat that goes on top of our content. Yeah. So just to let you guys know, we're not out here trying to steal people's music, right? We actually paid for the content, so we're trying to figure that out. But just wanted to let you guys know. Guys, we've got a big night tonight. If you guys are not subscribed or if you're on TikTok, we are at Debate Crypto, right? Obviously, you guys know Debate Crypto if you're in the chat. If you're on TikTok right now, make sure that you run on over to YouTube, subscribe to Debate Crypto, X out of the live chat, smash the likes, do all the things, share it with your friends, send lots of comments. Just tell us how much you love us, right? Because Miguel told me earlier, he said, I would feel so much better if all of our following would just tell me they love me. So just in the chat, tell Miguel you love him. He needs some love tonight. He needs a hug. He needs a virtual hug. Give it to the man. Speaking of the man, the myth, the legend, Miguel, what do we have on the podium this evening, my brother?
Polkadot's been pumping. Got some new all-time highs. It's got the auctions for his parachain, so we're going to be covering that. Then we got Bitcoin and Ethereum supply hitting multi-year lows. We're going to obviously be going deep into that. And finally, to wrap it up, now you can pay off your student loans with crypto.
Really? Well, I'll tell you what, we won't get into that one first, but I will throw out there that that's a lot of debt to pay off because our lovely government likes to keep everybody under their finger, right, as it relates to debt. So that's a whole nother story. Let's start off, Miguel. Let me zoom in a little farther here. Let's start off with Polkadot. So upcoming Parachain auctions send Polkadot to new all-time high while CHR and Theta follow. Miguel, before I start reading this article, will you explain to me what a Polkadot Parachain is? Well, first of all, tell me what Polkadot does, and then explain to me what a Polkadot Parachain is. You're muted.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, Polkadot, right? It has a relay chain and it has a parachain. Think of the parachain as the relay chain, I should say, as a tree trunk, and the parachains as branches from that tree. The parachains is what allows other crypto blockchains to connect to Polkadot, right? So they're all connecting through these branches, and they all connect to the main tree trunk where all the information goes. Now, when it comes to the consensus time, here's another example that can help you keep up with the consensus of how Polkadot knows what everything is doing. Think of a company with employees from different departments working inside that company. All these employees are the parachains, aka the other blockchains. They all come together to a meeting in a conference room and say, hey guys, hey Polkadot, this is what we're doing. We're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing that. And Polkadot's like, oh, okay, I understand what all the tasks are, what every single blockchain is up to. We're good to go. We're in consensus. Go back and go do your thing. Boom. That's Polkadot, Parachains, relay chain.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, Polkadot itself is all about interoperability, correct?
Yes, interoperability, right? So that's exactly what these parachains are doing. They're connecting to other blockchains and then bringing that information to the relay chain, which is the Polkadot's main network, and telling Polkadot this is what all these other blockchains have been up to, have been doing. That's what they discuss in this employee meeting.
Thank you. Yeah. So when we get into articles, sometimes, guys, I know there's a lot of lingo that maybe starts flying over people's heads. We pride ourselves on education here on the show, right? We want to be able to educate you so that you can make better decisions as it relates to the cryptoverse, right? So we like to explain things as much as possible and kind of bring it down a little bit. Sometimes the wording's a little tough. So upcoming parachain auctions send Polkadot to new all-time high while CHR and Theta follow. So Uptober, as they called it, is over, but Zhu tweeted earlier today the crypto market rally could extend through Upvember and Upsember and beyond. I love those names, bro. The month of October was stellar for Bitcoin and ETH, primarily because each hit new all-time highs. And even though the prices are consolidating now, traders are still wildly bullish. Let's go. The steady emergence of the metaverse is also driving excitement within the crypto sector, as it promises to be one of the driving forces behind development in the cryptocurrency space. The concept of a metaverse is also impacting the real world, a prime example being Facebook's recent rebranding to Meta. As the market heads into the month of November and bullish expectations run hot, let's take a look at some projects where the data hints at possible upside breakouts. So Polkadot. The Polkadot network is a sharding, multi-chain protocol designed to facilitate cross-chain transfers of any data or asset type. And the project is focused on increasing interoperability. That's a buzzword here. That's a key word. Make sure you get that, interoperability, between separate networks across the blockchain ecosystem. It goes farther to talk about some of the data. It shows that the momentum from DOT has been on the rise since the past couple of months, with its price rising 95% from a low of $26.05 on September 29th to an all-time high $51.57 as of today. So that is good news. The rising strength of DOT is largely due to the upcoming launch of the Parachain auctions on the Polkadot protocol. It's likely that traders are looking at the success of the Parachain auctions that took place on Polkadot's sister network, Kusama, and expecting the same to occur for DOT. Talks about their Parachain auctions have been in development through 2021, and the excitement surrounding the launch is the driving force behind the DOT rally, getting to new all-time highs today. So let me touch on this real quick. DOT, the Parachain auctions. Ultimately, we have a lot of different assets that want to be working and being interoperable with Polkadot, right? And so think of those tree branches, right? Okay, so now we've got a whole bunch of birds that want to get in and be part of these tree branches, want to be on the tree branch, right? And so because the network can only take so many birds at one time, they do an auction. And literally these projects are bidding money, bidding crypto, bidding whatever they're using. They're doing a lot of crowdfunding to source some of the money if it's a newer project. But at the end of the day, they want to be in there and like swimwear with Polkadot. And the better that the project does as it relates to getting on and being interoperable with Polkadot, they actually have a lease that will continue to extend until at some point they kind of fall off the map, or they just continue going for as long as the lease is. So Miguel, talk to me about, so with Polkadot, I'm super bullish on the project as a whole, right? They've got these pretty complex ideas behind what it is they're trying to do. To really dumb things down, it is as simple as making things interoperable, right?
Yes.
So why do we need what's the need for these auctions?
So look, the need for this Polkadot interoperability is because think of all these blockchains, all these standalones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Binance Coin, and so on, right? Think of them as planets in the galaxy with no communication from one to the next, right? We're just isolated out there in space, not being able to communicate with each other. Okay. What is it that mankind is trying to do? Reach into the stars, reach into find other civilizations, get information to expand our knowledge, right? So that's what's happening with interoperability. You're being able to connect all these planets that are completely isolated to each other, communicate with each other, learn from each other, and make blockchain smarter overall. Imagine if Ethereum could speak to Cardano, Cardano could speak to Binance Coin, Binance Coin can speak to Bitcoin. All these blockchains speaking to each other, saying, hey, I'm doing this, hey, I'm doing that, and coming to understand what all these blockchains are doing at the same time in real time. That is what is important about interoperability. You can only survive for so long in the blockchain world being completely isolated without being able to communicate to other blockchains. This is an important step that needs to happen in crypto for its evolution. I think we lost Nick here. It looks like we lost them, but we are good, guys. We are still good. I'm here, and we're going to try to keep it going, see if we can jump back in. So, guys, in the meantime, I'm going to continue keep explaining the reason why Polkadot is so important, right? Whether it's Polkadot or a competitor, interoperability is important for those reasons that I just mentioned. The fact that we cannot continue to keep growing the blockchain and growing the crypto ecosystem if we cannot communicate with one another. Oh, I think we got Nick back.
It looked like it kicked you.
You froze on my screen, dude. I was like, oh, he's gone.
You froze as well, and mine was saying 10 out of 10 network connection. So at any event, doesn't matter who's okay. So Polkadot interoperability, continue moving forward. I started to say, because I thought I was the one that was on, I'm super bullish on Polkadot. I took a bunch of profits back in May on Polkadot. And this is a project, Miguel, that I actually am kind of kicking myself for not getting back in again, right? But that being said, this is a project that will survive this upcoming bear market. Mark my words, right? Polkadot will survive this bear market. It is a solid project. Interoperability is what needs to happen in everything in the crypto space, especially the metaverse. That's a whole nother topic. We're not going to dive into that right now. But this is going to be a project that I am, and we will, I know Miguel's on board with this too, be scooping up during the upcoming bear market. And so we are super bullish on Polkadot.
So we have a question right now. We got a question from MJ saying, any thoughts on staking ETH until February when the change comes out? So there is no guarantee that the Ethereum 2.0 will happen in February. There's always a good chance that it might get delayed. But the risk that you run with...
Hold on. Let me just real quick.
Yeah.
The reason that he says that, Miguel, keep in your mind what you're about to say. The reason that he says that is because ETH has continuously been slow and coming out with dates that they're going to do things, and then it gets backed up. And then they come out with the date they're going to do something, and then it gets backed up. So
Exactly. And then at the same time, if you're staking your ETH, depending where you're staking it, whether you're actually staking it or putting it on a lending platform, you might not have the flexibility of being able to have control over your ETH in that moment to take profits. So if you're planning on taking profits before altcoin season is over, which should be before February, should be somewhere by the end of January, altcoin season should be over. You might miss that top, and you might not be able to sell any ETH. If you don't plan on selling any of your ETH at all, then you're good, right? Stake it, lend it, do whatever. You don't have to worry about it. But if you do plan on taking profits, that's something to consider.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm super bullish on ETH long term. You guys know, check out the hat, check out the shirt, check out behind me over here. We are ETH gang for life, right? I haven't figured out my sign for that, but we are ETH gang. There's no doubt about that. Sean, I saw your question in the chat. Yes, we will reach out to you, brother. No doubt. Do we have anything else in the chat before we jump onto this next article, Miguel? No, nothing else in the chat. Okay. Are you, dude? You're muted again. I swear to you, I'm going to reach through and snap.
We have another question from MJ saying, "Are there any other cryptos competing with Polkadot?" There are a few others, but they don't have any recognition at the level of Polkadot does. Polkadot is the biggest in the interoperability. I don't even know any off the top of my head. I think Cosmos is one of them. Algorand is another one.
Yep, Definity and Cosmos. Yeah, those would be three of them that I know of, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. But they're definitely nowhere as big as Polkadot. Polkadot is definitely the biggest out of all of them.
Yeah. Corey just said, "Hey guys, I help run a decent sized channel and wanted to say keep up the great work." Hey Corey, thank you very much for dropping in. We appreciate you. We are growing, guys. If you're in here, or if you're on TikTok, make sure you come over and subscribe to us, Debate Crypto, right? We are absolutely a growing channel. We just started a couple months ago and really trying to continue to press on, right? And then if you're in the live chat right now, the likes help, the comments help, the shares help. So if you can X out of the live chat, smash up the like, it would be super appreciated. Again, growing channel, trying to make this happen.
Yeah, and Corey, reach out. Let's talk outside of the stream, and let's do some collab work. Let's see what we can set up, and we can talk.
No doubt. No doubt. And Bart says, all I'm missing is an iced out ETH chain. Listen, let me just tell you something, Bart. I will tell you, if ETH hits 20K this run, you're going to see an iced out ETH chain, because I just might buy it just because my profits got a little crazy, right? No, but yeah, guys, we do appreciate everything you guys do. Let's move on to the next one. So let's talk about these student loans. Okay. Oh, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Here, sorry. Might help so that you guys can actually follow along here. Apparently, I was going to go off on my own here. All right. So, paying off student loans, you can do it with crypto. Now, pause. I am going to be somewhat sarcastic with this topic. I just can't get it off of me how nasty I feel that our government has been to our college graduates who have worked so hard. And Miguel's one of them, right? I can't say they've been nasty to me because I'm not a college graduate, right? I ultimately went to college at Ohio State, and I was more interested in partying than I was actually doing my schoolwork. Okay. I got an education. Well, never mind. So I had fun. Okay. Or I thought I was having fun until I had too much fun. And then I was like, what is going on here? Right. So that being said, I do not agree with a lot of the debt that is put on students. So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
The student loan debt market in the United States stands at more than $1.73 trillion, with over 42.3 million debtors required to pay an average debt of $39,351 each. For now, the government has put federal loan repayments on pause until January 2022, but that deadline is fast approaching. For students who hold crypto assets and are interested in exploring different avenues for repaying their loans, there are a number of decentralized finance options worth knowing. What is DeFi? I'm actually going to skip this, but DeFi, I'll read part of it. DeFi expands the use of blockchain from simple value transfer to more complex financial services. Specifically, DeFi refers to an ecosystem of decentralized application, autonomous applications that operate using smart contracts instead of relying on an underlying company to manage them. What does this mean?
Yeah,
it means
basic terms.
that it is a bank. It is banking operations. It is things that you can do in a bank without actually having the middleman, without actually having the bank. Essentially, there is computer code that operates if then. So this computer code creates what's called a smart contract. The smart contract says, if this happens, then do this. And that is literally a fantastic solution to not have the middleman involved. And we get what's called decentralized finance, where we're able to actually earn our own yield. We ultimately, as we put our money into savings accounts right now, you are loaning your bank money as if they don't have enough. Then they are loaning it out to everyone else, right? At 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 15%. And then they are so gracious and generous to give you 0.01 to 0.03%. And it blesses my heart how incredible these banks are to you. And you know what? Let's take it one step further. The entire country is on the verge of collapse in 2008, right? And what does our country do? Oh, we bail out the banks. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, if you can't tell, I'm a little salty. But that being said, ultimately what's going on here is it says the first thing that makes these solutions appealing is that they offer better interest rates. In some cases, the borrowing rates are near zero. Another factor is the possibility of accessing loans with a flexible repayment payment period. When taking DeFi loans, you do not need to make payments on a specific date each month. You can decide to skip a month or two without worrying about damage it will have on your credit score. Even more important, because these loans are issued via smart contracts and not by financial institutions, you do not need to maintain good credit scores to access these loans. Guys, we need to get a round of applause, right? This is what I'm talking about. This is why I love ETH, right? This is why I love decentralized finance. This says, hey, you know what? Not everyone's going to have perfect credit. People are going to make mistakes, right? Things are going to happen. You should still have the ability to access capital in the event that you need it. And these student loans are the worst. They're the worst because of not only just the interest rates, but the fact that it is a large sum of money that comes from the government, who, by the way, just prints the money as if it's just, I don't know, coming out of your regular inkjet printer, right? And then they put that debt on you. And ultimately, they hold people down. They enslave people to these student loans. It's
Yep.
disgusting. I don't like it if you can't tell. And we need to find a better solution. And I do believe smart contracts and DeFi could be that answer, and very well likely are. Miguel, thoughts?
Yeah, man. The fact that we are able to now have these loans taken out, whether it's through collateral, right, on DeFi and such, where you don't have to deal with these institutions and all their crazy requirements, your
Yep.
credit score, your house, your this, your that, crazy applications, and then at the end of the day, say, well, you're denied. Too much of a risk. We're not going to give it to you anyways. Or if
Yep.
they give it to you, they give it to you within a crazy interest rate that is worse than the actual loan itself. So those are all problems. Those are problems with students and their loans, right? Students get these massive loans to go to school, yet they don't get jobs that can pay off those massive loans. The interest rates keep on piling and piling and piling. And they're making students at the age of 18, 19 decide this, right?
Yep.
18-year-olds that don't know anything. They don't have any financial literacy because they don't teach you that in school. They don't teach you anything about loans. They don't teach you about interest rates. They don't teach you about how to save money and invest your money to be able to pay off these loans. They just tell you, get a college education. You'll know when you figure it out. Then you graduate college and you might have gotten an art degree, or you might have gotten a music degree. I have a friend that he literally went to college and just got a music degree. He's bartending. He's
Right.
bartending to
Right.
pay this off, right? And he eventually had to go back to school to actually get a degree in programming to now have a career. So, and at the age of 18, nobody was telling him, hey, maybe you shouldn't get a music degree that will cost you X amount of money and you're going to have to take out student loans for it. Paying student loans is a huge step back. So you're just getting into the real world, right? You just graduated school, you're done with school, you're about to start your real life, and you're already starting with a ball and chain around your foot, right?
Yep.
Other people are sprinting to their goals. You're literally dragging a ball and chain with you, trying to catch up because you can't. They're literally enslaving people into financial debt. That's what they
Yep.
want to keep you in debt always. Credit card debt, student loan debt, house debt, whatever debt. It's just about debt. You never have enough money to pay off all your debts, and you're just living paycheck to paycheck, no matter what your job is, no matter how much you're making a month.
At the end of the day, Miguel, that's a really great point. It is being enslaved by the debt. But at the end of the day, I applaud people that get a college degree. Miguel, you got a college degree, right? That is absolutely
Unfortunately.
that is absolutely like commendable, right? It shows that you are able to buckle down, you're able to study, you're able to take tests, you're able to memorize things, this, that, and the third. So I commend you for being able to do that, right? I applaud you. That's great. The thing is with college degrees now, and I think this is people are really starting to see this. Two things. One, they push college degrees for so long, so hard that we started to lose people in the trades. Okay. My grandpa used to tell me for a long time when I was younger, jumping from sales job to sales job, that I should get into the trades. And I always kind of poo pooed it like, nah, that's just not for me. I'm not going to get into that, whatever. Right. Now, I own a construction business. My life is in the trades. Besides crypto, right? My other job, right, is own a construction business. I can tell you, like, this is not me patting myself on the back, but I can tell you it's very hard work. I have incredibly talented employees. I wouldn't be where I am without them, so I want to make that really clear. But I will tell you, I make more money than all of my friends, flat, hands down. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying that to like say, oh, I'm great. I'm just trying to say that we live in a world today that rewards and is starting to lean towards rewarding actual applicable use. What is the use case here? And for so long, it wasn't that. It was, you need to get a degree. That's what you have to do. It's the right thing to do. And they actually made people feel less than for wanting to go to technical school, right? For wanting
Yes.
to listen, let me tell you this. My crew leads, my wife is a nurse, okay? A registered nurse, went to school for 4 years, full on registered nurse, been doing it for years. My crew leads make more money than my wife, a registered nurse, right? They might not even be able to write out a single like eloquently written paper, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the job that they're able to get done is highly skilled. And we are starting to realize that that has a lot of value. And last thought on this, we're moving into this digital age. Now, Miguel, your degree is in what, computer science?
Yeah, computer science.
Okay. So, yours is applicable probably pretty heavily. I've seen what you've been able to do with our business as far as helping us out and doing things that I'm like, huh? Right. So I can see where that's great, fantastic, and it helps. But we're starting to see more and more that if you either aren't in the trades or you're not in the digital age, right? You're not on the computer side of things, you're kind of lost in the middle. I see so many
Yeah.
people that have these massive amounts of debt and they're literally trying to figure out what are you going to do with what are you going to do with
No,
a
if you're not a doctor, a lawyer, or some
even that, all you need to do is have a degree and then go on to the specialized school. My problem with it is, why are we not set? Listen, my wife told me that she learned more in her actual
residency.
the residency, if you will. That's not what they call it, but yes, that in that process, hands down, like in a week or two of hands-on work than she
Yep.
ever did in the full 4 years of school.
Oh,
It's starting to become a joke.
100%.
It's a scam. It is government related. They want to hold you down. I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm trying to say that
Don't
there
go to
are better
college.
options sometimes, and don't go to college.
Yeah, dude. Like even with programming, even as a programmer, I see myself as a future mechanic. That's
Hold on a
what
second.
programmers will
No,
be.
say that again. You what?
A future mechanic.
Oh, you're saying what you're actually do in terms of the computers?
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, in the future, programmers will be obsolete.
Oh,
Right? We're gonna have in the near future. I'm not even talking about long
you're
distance like
talking
when I'm an
about
old man.
You're talking about for cars,
I'm talking about in general.
for anything.
And in the next
Okay.
20 years or so, programmers are going to be obsolete. We're going to have AI writing code. We already have AI that can write simple code, right?
Yeah.
There's literally an AI out there that you can use on the internet right now. And you say, I want a picture of a rocket, and I want that rocket to be bouncing off the walls in certain angles, and the program will write it for you and make it happen. You're literally telling it what you want it to do. So we as programmers in the future would just be the mechanics of these AIs. Like, oh, there's a little bug here. Let me fix this little issue that this AI is having. All right, go back to work. Go make all the actual progress. Programmers are not going to be programming. They're just going to be working on little things on the AI. But that's a whole nother story for another day.
But that's actually really crazy though, because when you said mechanic, I started thinking about it. Cars are operating more and more just strictly on computers, right? And it is not going to be long before you are correct. You are going to need a computer science. You're going to need to be a computer science engineer or something to work on some of these vehicles, right? As we get further and farther into the 21st century, I think more and more that those trades are going to change drastically. Even the things that we do right now, like I'll tell you this, we're putting a heated floor into part of a bathroom that my guys are doing. And my electrician told me, well, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, I got to hook this thing up to a computer and have it download. Is this a joke? And I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, that really is where we're headed.
Yeah.
All in on computers, all
Everything.
in on AI, all in on metaverse, all in on the digital age. It's
100%.
wild. It's super wild. It's super wild. At any event, don't trust the government. They suck, and they want to hold you down with your student loan debt. So let me move on.
Yeah, let's get to the good stuff. The meat of this conversation. The Bitcoin and ETH supply hitting multi-year low on exchanges.
So Bitcoin supply on exchanges drops to 3-year low. First of all, dope picture. That is super. I just really like it. That's probably a pretty cool NFT there. Okay, the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges is at its lowest in 3 years, suggesting that investors are not preparing to sell. Ethereum is also at a 2-year low for balances on exchanges. Data from cryptocurrency market data platform Glassnode, i.e., I have $900 a month to spend on a charts, program, shows that Bitcoin exchange balance is at its lowest level in 3 years. The balance held in exchanges is at 2.46 million BTC as of late October 2021, compared to quarter 2 of 2021 when the exchange balance was over 2.47 million BTC. That potentially indicates some bullish signs for the market. Historically, Bitcoin balances have been low when the market has been on the cusp of a good run, or at least strong belief in its current valuation. Bitcoin exchange balances tend to rise when the market is about to see an increased sell-off period because investors load up their Bitcoin on exchanges. Miguel, Mr. Bitcoin Maxi, tell me your feelings on this.
Yeah, so it's simple, right? It's showing that people are not willing to sell their Bitcoin. They understand the scarcity of it, they understand the value of it, and they understand that it's going to keep going up. And there's no point in selling and taking profits right now when they can be holding on for 100K plus Bitcoin. The blow off top is not happening yet. It's going to happen within the next 60 days by the end of December. And people are patient. People that are in Bitcoin are patient. They know the long game, and they know that where Bitcoin should be valued, and they understand that right now Bitcoin is undervalued. So they are patient enough to wait, right? Ethereum, same thing. Same thing. They understand the value of Ethereum. They understand that Ethereum right now is burning at 2 wicks, right? A lot of people are locking it up for staking. The rest of it is getting burned through transactions, whether it's NFTs, DeFi, or whatever. It's burning. There's less and less ETH, and the other people are not willing to sell it. They're just buying and staking, buying and staking. People are going to get priced out of Ethereum the same way people have been priced out of Bitcoin.
Yeah. And I think it's important to understand, if you are new to the crypto space, when Miguel says that they're priced out, doesn't mean that you physically can't buy Bitcoin, you can't buy Ethereum, right? You can buy you can buy pieces, parts of Bitcoin and ETH, right? You don't have to buy a whole ETH or a whole Bitcoin, okay? But what Miguel is saying is that at some point, the returns on Bitcoin are not going to be, and they're getting there right now. You have the law of diminishing returns. As it gets larger and larger and larger and larger, we get closer and closer and closer to a final, resting place, so to speak. And so every time a bull market goes and we get to a higher and higher and higher point, that premium, that amount of returns that you can expect gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's happening with ETH as well. And what I think is interesting is that ETH is really, what I love most about ETH, as you guys can tell from the hat, the t-shirt behind me, all this good stuff. I love Bitcoin and ETH. What I love about ETH is the actual, the usability, right? For what it actually does in the market. And I think when EIP 1559 came out, that's Ethereum Improvement Plan 1559. Basically, it is burning some ETH on every transaction. Okay. So it's not technically deflationary because it's not burning more than is being added to the supply. Excuse me. But it has put a deflationary aspect on the charts, right? And
it's limiting the supply out there.
Yes, it has affected the supply a lot. And we have obviously supply and demand economics. This should be pretty simple for anyone to understand. If we have less supply and a lot of demand, what happens? That's literally with anything in life. If there's no gasoline and you got a whole bunch of vehicles that need gas, what do you think the price of gasoline is going to look like?
Yeah, what happened earlier in 2020, right? When nobody was driving because the fog around the world took everybody out and nobody could go to work. Nobody was using gas, so too much gas, no demand, right? Too much supply, no demand. Gas prices were down, and oil was people were literally giving away oil in the stock market because they could not hold it. They were just giving it away for free. They were paying you to go take the oil, to go take the physical oil.
Yeah, it literally says ETH balances on exchanges are at a 2-year low of 14.4 million ETH, which again bodes well for the market. The market appears to be in a good position, consolidating at current price levels at over 60,000 and 4,200 respectively. Bitcoin and ETH have risen sharply since the end of September 2021, where both were approximately 42,000 and 2,900, right? That is a nice change in the numbers, right? This is headed to some big numbers. This is headed for a big change, not financial advice, but if you're not on the ETH rocket or the Bitcoin rocket, I don't know what you're doing, right? I don't know if you like got off at the last stop when everybody was saying that it was done, that the bear market was here. Guys, be prepared. This is going somewhere great. Let me read this last little paragraph here. Heading into quarter 4, 2021, where does Bitcoin stand? There have been numerous models in the past that have predicted some Bitcoin high valuations by the end of 2021. One of the most notable of these is Plan B stock to flow model, which predicted a target of 135,000 by the year's end at the worst case. While the price of BTC isn't quite there yet, it's still not too far off with its current value of over 62,000. Pause. They had Plan B. He, they, she, whatever, right? Had a prediction at the end of October for 63,000. I think we closed out October at like 60 and some change, or 61. Was literally within a couple percent, right? So slightly longer prediction periods, like to put forward by Tim Draper, have Bitcoin's price target at 250K by 2023. But the market is fickle and tends to move at a whim, but seemingly always forward. Bitcoin and the market in general tend to rise in quick bursts, as bullish prices in the past have shown. It could very well be that BTC will experience a sudden bull rally to reach that figure, which I think is going to happen. There's no way of being certain, but general indicators like that of Bitcoin on exchanges seem to suggest that the market could be in a good growth period. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. And I think what you said earlier was important too. Was also very important to mention is you say you can buy fractional parts, right? So you don't get priced out. But people tend to forget that being a whole coiner is very, very lucrative and important to be before you get priced out. Where yes, you can buy, right? When Bitcoin hits $1 million, you can buy tiny fractions, but you're going to be buying crumbs, right? You're going to be buying crumbs versus if you buy it now, you can have $1 million. If you become a whole coiner of Bitcoin, of ETH, right? ETH will eventually hit extremely high prices that you will not be able to buy an entire ETH once again. So being a owner of an entire ETH or of a few ETH is going to be very important in the future, right? If you look at people, it's like, oh man, you have how many buildings in New York? You own how many buildings in New York? You own how many buildings in California by the coast? Prime real estate, and that's what ETH and Bitcoin are, prime real estate that are still early enough to accumulate either one entire one or multiple, right? Depending on your financial situation right now. And whether your financial situation is good or not right now, you can play in the altcoins, grow your portfolio, and then be able to have enough buying power to buy multiple ETH or buy multiple Bitcoin. It's just a matter of time before you fully get priced out, and then you can never buy a full Bitcoin or a full ETH again.
So while I agree with a lot of that, I do want to remind people one thing, right? This is Debate Crypto, so we can debate a little bit here. At the end of the day, whether you buy a whole Bitcoin or you buy a tenth of if you buy 1/100th of a Bitcoin, right? If you buy one Satoshi, if the price of Bitcoin raises by 10%, your money that you've put in raises by 10%. So let's make it really simple. It does, if you put $100 in Bitcoin and $100 in Ethereum, right? And then it raises 10%, you have $110. If you put in 10,000 and it raises by 10%, you now have 11,000. So ultimately, I guess what I'm getting at is the percentages are still the same. So keep that in mind. Don't let some, like Miguel has good intentions with what he's saying, but don't let him scare you out of getting into Bitcoin or getting into Ethereum, because the reality is You can accumulate over time. It doesn't just go straight up.
Oh,
There
yeah.
will be market corrections. And if you start to accumulate now, if you start to accumulate this next bear market, again, not financial advice, we're not financial advisors. We're not here to tell you to buy at anything or at any certain time. But what we do know is, and I'll tell you, I'll tell it like it is. Miguel and I both have a nice chunk of crypto. Okay. But let's touch on this. Did either of us spend massive amounts of money to have the portfolio that we have now? The answer is no. Okay.
Yeah.
We got in early. Have we spent a chunk of money? For sure. Right. But like if I told you how much ETH I had right now, you'd be like, holy mackerel, like how much money did you put in? And then when I told you, you guys would want to jump through the screen and choke me because you'd say, what the heck? How did you do that? Right. Well, the reality is I had to get in at some point. And I got in with conviction and I started buying. And I want to tell you, the new investor, do not be scared. Do not let Miguel FUD you out of this market.
But that's not what I'm saying. You misunderstood me. You misunderstood me, and Andrew is misunderstanding me as well, right? You're thinking that I'm scaring people out of Bitcoin and ETH. I'm actually trying to scare you into thinking you don't have enough Bitcoin and ETH, and you should be out there buying more Bitcoin and ETH, because that has true scarcity, that has true fundamental values, unlike a lot of the other coins that don't have anything, right? Like Shiba, right? Like Floki Inu,
no doubt.
Like Cat Girl, like Hex,
no doubt. And there is a lot to be said from what Corey just said, that he follows a CVO method of attacking altcoin profits to buy BTC and ETH in the bear market. That's a fantastic way to go about it, right? CVO is brilliant. He absolutely knows his stuff. But what CVO needs to tell you, and I know that he does, he's responsible, is that your level of risk doing that is much higher than just buying into ETH and Bitcoin. And so what Miguel really is trying to get at is saying, hey, listen, we are continuing to buy ETH and Bitcoin now because we want to continue to accumulate. And if I were you, right, I might start considering that, right? Don't get scared because the prices are high. Get in before it's too late to get in. At some point, the percentages that I was talking about, the percentage swings, are going to chill out. It will be sooner than later, right? But the reality is, what is it? Less than 2% of people are in crypto right now, Miguel?
Yeah, something like that. Something
it is a
like
very, very, very low number. And if you can be on the cutting edge, on the cusp of new technology, what do you think these people that bought into Amazon early, kind of money they have now, bought into Apple, right? They started a computer company in their garage that's turned into a $1 trillion, company. That in and of itself says one thing: getting in early on assets that are going somewhere, i.e. Bitcoin or Ethereum, you're going to go along for the ride too. If you can be patient, not look at this as a lottery ticket. This is not a scratch ticket. This is a long-term investment.
It's a long-term investment, but at the same time, the term is not that long. People don't understand how quickly these markets move and how fast, right? Bitcoin is predicted by Plan B to hit over $1 million by 2025. Next bull cycle, Bitcoin should be hitting over $1 million. Who's going to buy a full Bitcoin, right? So you have a time span of the next 2 years and a half to accumulate one full Bitcoin, unless you already have millions of dollars. If you don't, you have 2 years and a half at most to accumulate a full Bitcoin throughout different price dips throughout the bear market. Right? Ethereum is going to be at 100K or so by 2025. So if you don't have 100K lying around or 50K lying around, Ethereum's at 4K right now.
Figure it out.
It is time. You have the next 2 to 3 years to accumulate as much ETH as you want, because then you're not going to be buying any actual worthy amount of it.
Let me talk to what Brady said. He said, "What's your exit strategy?" First of all, I want to say 2 things about this. It says Brady Miller. We have debatecrypto.academy, okay? And that is a community of like-minded people, right? We call them the crypto fam, right? There's a bunch of them in the DCA fam, Debate Crypto Academy fam, right? They are in the chat. They are always with us. We love you, DCA fam. Want to just give you guys a shout out, each and every one of you. We appreciate you guys. But ultimately, if you are we have different packages, but the all-in package allows you to have a private seminar every single week with Miguel and I. We literally will be on a Zoom call with you guys face to face every single week. If that's something that interests you, there's a lot more to it. We're ultimately setting up strategies in the bear market. Our mantra is education, game planning, education, game planning. And that is what we want to do. We want to educate you so that you can set up a good game plan. And we bounce those off of each other and we talk about it. So I want to get on to the next thing. The second part of that is, as part of that, we tape all of our seminars. We did a seminar recently on exit strategies. There are 10,000 different exit strategies. While one might make sense for me, it might not make sense for you. While one might make sense for Miguel, might not make sense for Bart, right? And so ultimately, let me just say this. My exit strategy this time, I'm going to take a massive, this is going to be the last bull market that I'm going to be taking profits. It will, okay? I'm going to take a massive amount of profits on ETH because I truly believe from the bottom of my soul that ETH prices and Bitcoin prices are going to absolutely dump after seeing a historic rise. So this will be the last time I will take profits. I'll take a massive amount of profits. I will take all profits on my altcoins besides Ethereum, right? So Bitcoin, Ethereum, I will hold a chunk of just in case I'm wrong and it continues to run, right? And, I wouldn't be that mad at that point, but I am looking forward to the bear market. So many people look at it as a scary thing. My exit
so exciting, bro.
It is exciting if you can twist and fine tune your gears up here correctly. Because if you can twist your gears up here correctly to say, okay, I make decisions right now over the next year, over the next 2 years to then ultimately set me up to be winning for life. Literally, if you can buckle down, it's like you don't need to be in a position where I'm at right now. You can start back where I started, right? And you can start building your foundation. You'll just be a little bit behind me, right? And so I just want to encourage you that my strategy might not be yours, but I'm going to be taking profits this time. I am then going to buy back in at what I believe to be the bottom of the market. I will dollar cost average. That's the DCA fam, right? It's Debate Crypto Academy, but dollar cost average because that's part of what we talk about a lot. And then ultimately, we will be doing staking. We will be doing gaming. We're going to be doing play to earn like NFT stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of metaverse. All of these are happening in Debate Crypto Academy. This is a big part of what we're doing throughout the bear market. So while everybody else is and the link's in my bio if you're in TikTok, right? That'll get you there, but it's debatecrypto.academy. While everybody else is stuck trying to figure out like, what are we going to do? It's the bear market. Miguel and I and the Academy are going to be having some fun. We are going to enjoy the bear market. We are going to buy up these low prices and we are going to win long-term like we already have been. So sorry for going on that rant. But ultimately, guys, we want you to be along for the ride. We are passionate about what we do. We are passionate about allowing others to learn with us. And we've seen people succeeding and we want you to succeed along with us.
So we got a question. So Bart says, how long before buyback? I would say at least 8 months. 8 months after the initial big drop is when I will start considering and looking at the market, seeing how far we've gone back down, and then start considering buying back. Because remember, the next bull market technically should not happen until the next halving. The next Bitcoin halving isn't until 2024. So you have until before then, right, to start
but you want to be
having
accumulating. Make sure you're clear about this. You want to be accumulating 8 months from now through until that halving to try to make sure.
Well, yeah, depending on where the prices are, right? Depending on where the prices are 8 months from now. Because if 8 months from now, maybe we had a nice little bounce back up or something, you're going to have to wait for it to come back down. Or maybe we're not as low as we expected just yet. So I don't expect that to be the case. I expect this to be pretty low 8 months from after the blow off top. But you never know. So you always got to be assessing the situation. There's no like deadline, like, okay, after this date, it's buy season. You always got to be assessing the situation and learning. That's why the bear market is so important. You need to learn more and pay more attention to the market than ever throughout the bear market to set yourself up. Yeah, it's your opportunity, right? To set yourself up so when the bull market comes, you're just sitting back, relaxing. Oh, May happened. We just lost 60%. I'm good. I'm
Oh,
still in the
well.
green.
Yep.
I'm still in the green.
Yep.
Unlike everybody else that jumps in at the top, and then drops 50%, and everybody's pooping their pants because they don't know what's going on, and they think everything is a loss, and they start taking losses, and it's just craziness.
It's tough, guys. I will throw this out there. If you're new to the crypto space, right, it is tough to buy when the whole market is just in a slump, right?
Yes.
But buying in that slump
It's the
is
best
going
time.
to absolutely put you on the mountaintop, right? And I will say this, we've talked about this a lot. Bull markets are to make people rich or make quick money or really boom, right? But bear markets are what create generational wealth. And I don't know about you, but I've got a 5-month-old daughter sleeping in one of the other rooms over there. And that's who I'm doing crypto for at this point. Yes, do I want to have fun? Sure. Do I want to hang out with my wife and go on vacations? Sure. Do I want to drive a Lambo? No, I wouldn't pick a Lambo, but do I want to be able to have nice things? Sure. But at the end of the day, as I've gotten older, it's crazy how much I've changed, Miguel, because right now I could be driving a flashy car if I wanted to be. It's just not, I'm not doing it, dude. You know what I mean? I've got a nice SUV. Okay, cool. Whatever. I've got a beautiful home. Okay, cool. Whatever. Like, my goal is to accumulate, and your goal should be to accumulate, and you have an opportunity in front of you like no other. Do not let someone scare you out of it. This is the future. This is where we're headed. You've seen it in act.
We lost him again, guys. We lost him again. I don't know what happened there. So we'll see when he gets back in here. But in the meantime, I will be answering. Oh,
I don't know what it's doing. I have no idea what it's doing. Okay, but what I'm saying is we are headed somewhere. Come along for the ride, guys. We love each and every one of you guys, if nobody's told you that before today. Miguel, do you have anything before we
we got a few other good questions here that I want to cover before we go. So we have one saying, I believe you talked about borrowing against your crypto so you don't sell in the future. Yes, that is definitely long-term goals. If you don't if you want to avoid capital gains taxes, the way to go legally to avoid taxes is to put your crypto up as collateral, pull out USDC, right? As stable as a stable coin as a debt, and then you can use that to reinvest into your portfolios, do whatever it is that you want to do, and you don't have to pay capital gains tax on that. That comes with risks, right? If you pull out debt on your Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin at 100K at the top, and then Bitcoin drops.
Hold on, did you say 100K was the top?
As an example, right? Let's keep the numbers simple, but that's not going to be the top. That's not going to be the top. I'm making the math easy here for people. If it drops down to 30 and you put a whole Bitcoin in and you don't have any more Bitcoin besides that one, you either have to buy more Bitcoin now and put more collateral, or they will liquidate your Bitcoin to take that money back, and you will lose 70% of your Bitcoin.
Just understand the risks. Understand the risks with anything that you do here, guys. Make sure you study into, but you're totally.
But don't be scared of taking out loans. That is a long-term strategy. You just need to have capital reserves either within Bitcoin itself, or maybe not pull out the entire Bitcoin as a loan, right? Only pull out a small portion so you can have the rest of your Bitcoin as collateral to keep putting up as the crypto goes down, or you pull out the loan when it's at the bottom and you use that little bit to actually buy back into your portfolio and you ride it on the way up.
This idea of taking loans against your assets is a wealthy idea, right? This is an idea that they do not teach you in that fancy college degree that you get. I promise you that, because at the end of the day, this idea is one of those tax ideas that is supposed to be reserved for the elites. Listen, make yourself an elite. Start thinking like an elite. Start learning to think like elites do. Get taxed like elites do. You have the same tax law and guides and framework as everyone else. You just need to know how to take advantage of them. Get yourself a good tax guy. Make decisions that ultimately will help change your life. And the biggest part of that, I believe, in my estimation, is getting involved in crypto and the metaverse.
Yeah. So another question here from Andrew saying, do you think the bottom of the bear market would be after a year? So give or take, it should be
289 days.
Yeah, exactly right. Give or take, it should be around that time, should be the bottom of the bear market. Always needs to reassess, see how the situation is going. It's always going to be hard to time the exact bottom, just like it's going to be very difficult to time the exact top. That's where DCAing in the bear market comes in handy, right? You might not buy the lowest point, but you'll buy very close to it, and you'll buy on the way up, and you'll be making massive green profits on the way up. Yeah. In the bear market, not in the bull market. So that's that. The other question here is from Bart saying, in the meantime, stake profits and from stablecoins ? Yes, if you're not planning on selling your crypto in the bear market, before the bear market, definitely put them into some lending platforms, Celsius, BlockFi, whichever other ones are out there, and start getting some passive income from that in the meantime.
Yeah. 100%. Guys, listen, with decentralized finance, there is a whole new world that opens up, right? And it ultimately is there at your disposal if you're willing to do some investigation, learn how to use these applications, step out of your comfort zone a little bit, and make some different choices. They ultimately can help change your life. Yeah. Guys, again, if nobody's told you before today, we freaking love you. Debate Crypto Academy, DCA fam, we love you guys. Every single person in the chat, we love you. We appreciate you. TikTok fam, we love you too. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to Debate Crypto. Make sure you guys have smashed up the likes. If you got an X out of the live chat, it takes 2 seconds. Come on, hook it up, right? And until next time, guys, hodl.